You think you've seen everything, but trust me, you haven't. No one expected Chrissy Lampkin, the person we all thought we knew from TV, to die in court today. Her world was falling apart in real time, not simply because she was having an emotional breakdown. Even stranger is the fact that Camron is the last person anyone thought would possess the covert proof that would ultimately result in her death. How did he do it? He left behind classified evidence that will soon dispel all of our assumptions about Chrissy's secret recordings. Startling records and things that weren't supposed to be known to the public. Don't assume that this is just another courtroom drama. Chrissy's career could be destroyed by Camron's actions, and no one is ready for what is going to occur. This is the kind of controversy that will have you wondering about everything, not just the scandal itself. Keep an eye out because you're going to see a bombshell of enormous proportions. It started like any other court day, with people lining the streets and paparazzi flashing as Chrissy Lampkin sauntered into the courthouse as if she still controlled the story. A woman is only a few seconds away from having a full-blown public collapse behind that glitzy facade, and nobody was ready for the chaos, not even Chrissy. Expensive heels, large shades, and hair that is clicked to the sky that was about to blow up because a man she hadn't spoken to in years was sitting in the courtroom that day, silent but lethal. Cam had a purpose, and this wasn't the "I'm here to support my friends" mentality. The court started off too quietly, like The Quiet, before a full-fledged reality TV tempest. The lawyers bowed as the judge walked in, and then a mysterious silver bag appeared on the prosecution's desk. The vibe in the room changed when they plugged in the flash drive. Screenshots of hundreds or thousands of group chats, erased messages, and encrypted WhatsApps were the first thing to show up. It was clear that this was more than a simple civil issue. The courtroom was silent save for Chrissy's anxious acrylics tapping on the desk. But the shocking vocal note that made everyone in that room stop breathing for 10 whole seconds. Chrissy was seen pacing in heels and yelling on a phone while speaking to someone identified as G in the leaked security camera footage from a luxury Miami hotel suite. She was going on and on about how Cam had manipulated accounts. Her voice was desperation, venom, and anger. "They're crazy if they believe I'm letting Jim die by himself. I own this boom. I built it. I'll burn the whole Dipset empire to the ground if he talks," she added, causing the entire courtroom to gasp. Because who was G, and how did Cam get this film? Chrissy's face became white, and her jaw tightened as though she were fighting back a scream when the judge literally begged everyone to calm down. You see, most people don't know that Cam and Chrissy were together for a long time before VH1's Love and Hip Hop. They were practically family before they started wearing identical Gucci on red carpets. But according to gossip, things worsened. In 2018, after a major disagreement over a backdoor deal involving real estate, money that vanished for no apparent reason. Anonymous sources close to the courtroom claim that Camron never got his cut and has been silent for years. As revealed by another leak, insiders assert that Cam came for personal reasons rather than to exert influence. Chrissy purportedly started a private luxury company with about $150,000 from a fictitious organization for women's empowerment. But the venture never really took off. Rather, it was Chrissy's unexpected makeover, in which stylists and cosmetics artists used charity money intended for single mothers to create moments for photographers. Not to mention the NDA, a lengthy signed document. The IRS is purportedly monitoring every transaction, dated 2018, that detailed a private conflict between Cam, Jim, and Chrissy that included recording devices, physical threats, and alleged payments to keep everything under wraps. You know what? Cam's team handed it to the judge like a steakhouse. Menu after it was leaked, page by page, line by line. Chrissy's attorney tried to object, dismissing it as irrelevant past. But the judge denied the request because he didn't believe it. That's when Chrissy lost it, leaned forward, and muttered something to her lawyer before sobbing violently and smearing mascara on her eyes. Not the kind of tears you see on television, but the kind that come when you know you're losing everything. You could hear her muttering that he shouldn't have done this as the cameras panned in on her face. But Cam sat motionless and pretended to be everyone was so focused on Chrissy that they didn't realize Cam's legal team wasn't done yet. In fact, they had more charges. Witnessing justice finally be denied was devastating. Financial Reporting, a source who wished to remain anonymous, claimed that Chrissy was manipulating production costs on multiple seasons of Love and Hip Hop in order to use show money to transfer funds to her private business relationships, in order to finance lavish vacations under the guise of business retreats. She allegedly convinced a young public relations assistant to sign a fake invoice claiming $22,000 in media placement fees that were actually utilized for her birthday yacht party in Turks and Caicos. Even worse, the assistant works for a competitor network right now. And guess what? According to reports, she is ready to testify. Twitter was on fire. Instagram blogs were going crazy, and TikTok was exploding with conspiracy videos, popping every 5 minutes. Some believe this was all arranged by Cam, while others believe Chrissy overreached him with something behind the scenes. One comment said, "About time someone pulled her card." In any case, it's clear that the public had swiftly turned against her. Another person wrote, even celebrities were chiming in. And this is why I, a confirmed producer, wrote on Twitter. People in the courtroom were chatting about how the federal agents were in the hallway. Chrissy's lawyer looked like he had aged 5 years in 5 minutes. And the judge now had Chrissy's freedom on the line because this was not just a messy love triangle scandal, but one involving RICO energy racketeering, financial fraud, tampering, and possibly even obstruction. Avoid collaborating with reality stars who pose as CEOs. Requested arrest. And the worst part is that Cam wasn't the only one with receipts, because as the courtroom cleared out and Chrissy was being let out, struggling to keep her composure, Mama came in the back door. Can you really blame Jim Jones for ignoring the entire event and, according to rumors, not even being there? Chrissy sat with a tissue in one hand and shook her shoulders without getting up. You're right, Jones. The incessant talker was spotted carrying what looked like a manila folder and a Bluetooth device in her ear as she entered the courtroom. Mama Jones only shows up when things are going to become ugly, as everybody who knows her knows. In that folder, what is it? How is she involved in all of this? And when she walked in, why did Camron grin? During the live stream, reporters were still outside and bloggers were already criticizing Chrissy for being canceled. Into their headlines, but all changed as Mama Jones walked into that silent hallway. She was there to confront Chrissy, not to comfort her. And although she remained silent, her eyes were full of drama. Her carrying the manila folder as she strode past security as if she owned the building and headed straight to the private witness room wasn't a coincidence. From the early days of Love and Hip Hop, Chrissy and Mama Jones never had a quiet moment. This is part of a very twisted and unresolved past. Money, power, and the gym were all points of contention between them. But according to a leaked paper, we were unaware of the extent to which Chrissy reportedly went behind the scenes to silence Mama. Her voice reverberated through the vents as the door closed behind her, telling everyone, "What did you do, Chrissy? Or I'll listen." A mystery email Chrissy sent to a gossip blog minutes after Mama's arrival offered a reality show producer $50,000 to remove all Mama Jones scenes from season 4. This was due to Mama's threat to disclose a deal Chrissy had made behind Jim's back, offering a private investor in Atlanta the partial rights to one of his unpublished song libraries. According to rumors, Chrissy wasn't even allowed to touch the catalog. But now that everything is coming apart, Mama Camron was back in his seat and seemed far too calm, as if he knew the storm was finally on her side of the street. But Chrissy hadn't returned yet and was still locked in the witness room with Mama when the prosecution dropped the second bombshell. A recently found voicemail from Chrissy to an unnamed woman dated March 2020. Jones is no longer silent. And according to sources, she retained the receipts in court. Chrissy screaming, "I told you to use the ghost account, not the F connection." Now they're tracing it as a result of a wire transfer going missing. You read correctly. Lil Durk and the crew do not currently have a direct relationship. But the mention of F in any financial conversation under investigation raises serious concerns. Prosecutors immediately asked the court for more time to collect. Banking records from Chrissy's business team was reportedly associated with shell corporations situated in Atlanta. The FBI showed up in the hallway wearing full suits and badges. Just when we thought things couldn't get any worse. They had identities and requested to talk with Chrissy's legal team in private court. They weren't just there for show, but because of the intense stress in the room, one insider posing as a law intern leaked a text message saying, "They found the offshore accounts, boom, game over." According to reports, authorities believe Chrissy was using 3 different names to transfer charitable contributions, show money, and commercial collaborations into offshore accounts. Despite having no active sources of income, her rapid rises in fortune. New automobiles, lavish vacations, and million-dollar investments have been the subject of years of speculation. Monroe, Vera, and Christina Jones take note. Santiago shares the same birthday and is registered in Panama under 3 different names. Camron didn't even blink when it was revealed. Instead, he crossed his arms, leaned back, and smiled as though he had been looking forward to this day since 2019. People started to speculate that Chrissy was having a full-blown breakdown in the rear because she hadn't returned to the courtroom. Then Jim Jones, who looked tired and unchained, showed up, the last person everyone had expected. Dazzling. Drip, he didn't look at the cameras, didn't greet anyone, and headed directly to Mama Jones while sporting a sweatshirt, sunglasses, and an expression that suggested he hadn't slept in days. He hugged her and Chrissy and murmured something in her ear. Several seconds later, she came out with her mascara streaming and her lips trembling. She grabbed for Jim's hand, and he removed it forcefully enough for everyone in the front seats to hear him murmur, "You lied to after years of me. The feds now know everything." When Chrissy's shoulders snapped, her entire face collapsed, and Mama Jones turned away. She froze. After Jim departed, the video went viral on the internet. Videos of Jim rejecting Chrissy in court surfaced online within minutes, and Chrissy disclosed Mama Jones' warning. Instagram blogs were going crazy, so he took them down. Someone posted, "I've known Chrissy was shady. She played everyone but not Cam." An anonymous declaration made by a former executive producer at VH1 just hours prior, claiming that Chrissy was the source of the accusation, was the court's first exhibit. Someone else said, "This is bigger than reality TV. This is federal, indictment level." And they weren't Ron G. Editing teams were often paid to alter her appearance on television, removing threats, verbal disputes, and even reported physical altercations. She granted them access to well-known influencers and brand relationships in return. One horrifying line read, "Chrissy weaponized reality television and every man around her to build an empire of lies." Following a protracted wait, the judge set a formal until the investigative hearing begins on Friday. Ms. Lampkin is required to surrender her passport and refrain from any media coverage of this issue. Chrissy cried once again. Mama Jones refused to even glance at her as she turned to face her lawyer. Jim was already gone when she reached for him. She was ready to leave in quiet when a voice interrupted her. That love story was gone. That power couple brand was destroyed, and that reality TV royalty image was damaged. From the hallway, "Andy Smith, you used to talk a lot when I was on the chopping block, but now you're quiet. It appears that Yan Dandi has her own receipts. So there's another twist, another adversary, and another story set to begin." According to rumors, she has been waiting for years to expose Chrissy, and now that the truth is out, she is prepared to share it all. This legal storm of treachery is still going strong. Warfare and revenge on reality TV, this story isn't finished yet. So if it rocked you as much as it did us, don't even think about scrolling. Instead, click like, subscribe, and enable notifications. More truth is coming, more secrets are leaking. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Tell us what you think in the comments section below. Do you believe Chrissy is at fault or guilty? Women in a more important game. Let's talk about, since this drama is so different from finished.